Hopefully I can do this in one try. Welcome to the Hog Styes, ladies and gentlemen. Boop, I said Hog Styes.
Leaving it in.
Welcome to the Hog Style, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
We've got another nice full show for you. We're going to talk some Redskins running backs with our own Steve Thomas, author of our new comprehensive Matt Jones breakdown to guide us through it. Running backs aside, which intrepid Redskins cracked the top 100 list of all players? We'll weigh in on expert opinions next. Shout out to Coastal Carolina for winning the College World Series. Next step is letting those smaller schools get a cut of the college football pie. Plus, is Kirk Cousins going to get a deal? And what's this I'm hearing about Brandon Banks? Don't go away. The Hog Styes next.
Welcome to the Hogsty with your crew, Alex Zeese, Steve Thomas, and Robbie Duncan. And now, here's your host, Sean Conti.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. So happy to have you with us. The Honorable Sean Conti presiding. Please all rise for Prosecutor Steve Thomas. What's up, Steve?
I am here. I'm just supremely jealous of our friend Robbie, because I'm sitting, in the normal Hogsty Studios, Houston, and Robbie is not in his normal spot.
No, he's not. Will you share with us where you are, Prosecutor Robbie Duncan, or no? I guess you have to be the defendant.
I am currently radioing in from the same shores of Baghdad on my vacation.
God damn.
And I'd just like to point out for the audience that he's literally sitting on the beach, okay?
Right. Yeah, they probably hear the wind from his phone right now, which I'm going to cut out as much out as I can, but...
Well, it's kind of a nice little, chill vibe for the show.
Well, it just shows the dedication,
It does.
Because Robbie could be sitting there with his drink and with his, whatever he's doing there on the beach, and instead, he's here for you.
Right.
We are here for you. Even in the dog days of summer, we are here for you.
When I go on vacation,
Right.
I will not be that good.
No,
Well,
you won't
gotta
even
make
text us back.
sacrifices, right?
Yeah.
You gotta do what you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, Alex, I think if you were dedicated, you would have radioed in from Greece, but I think that just shows that you were
yeah,
not.
you're a lazy fuck.
Yeah. Well, who would I charge the cost back for that phone call?
Oh,
Sean.
God. Yeah. I was going to say,
Sean
put
was
it on
unemployed.
Hogstyle.
Well, not to brag, guys. I just saw a stingray jump out of the water.
Awesome.
Oh, God. Be careful, man.
It's a sign.
Hopefully, you
Yeah,
were not
right.
anywhere near the stingray when it jumped.
Yeah.
Those things don't fuck around.
Don't try to touch it like Steve Irwin.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, never do like Steve-O does. I would say stingrays are they're in my top 50 animals I don't fuck with.
Well, he was talking about Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter who died,
Right,
getting
right.
stung by a stingray.
That's right.
Steve-O is somebody entirely different who's a little bit crazier than Steve Irwin.
Yeah, but he fucks with stingrays, too. I don't know if you know much about Steve-O, Steve. God, there's too many Steves in this conversation. Jesus Christ. Forget it.
Steve, and Steve.
How did this happen already? Okay, let's put the stingrays aside. Stingrays and Steves aside. We got a great show for you guys, and we're super happy about it. By the way, you've heard him talking, but I didn't get a chance to call him out. That's Alex Zeese,
Yo.
the man himself.
How's it
What
going?
up? We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, guys. And I got to start because I'm feeling pretty good about myself this week. My own alma mater, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, the true Cinderella story in college baseball. They won the College World Series. I believe it's the first time a school like Coastal has done it since 1956. I believe is the answer.
Wow.
I'd like somebody to explain to me what a Chanticleer is.
I was going to ask the same thing.
I would gladly explain that. So this is kind of embarrassing, guys. It's probably the least intimidating college mascot you'll ever come across. But a Chanticleer is the rooster from the Canterbury Tales. Yes, that's right.
See, that's what I thought. I thought it was a rooster, and I don't understand why a team would name itself after a bird that's designed to, lives to be eaten.
Let me tell you something, Steve. Many a Coastal student.
Is there a fight song, the Alice in Chains song? Here comes the rooster.
No. God,
What's it with
no.
Carolina schools and roosters? Because isn't South Carolina the Gamecocks?
And you hit on the answer right there, Alex. Very astute. So the Coastal actually spun off of USC. They started as part of USC, and then their marine biology school on the coast, and then eventually broke off and became their own university, and kind of kept the rooster chicken theme going on. But God, the Canterbury Tales guys.
You're a marine biology
Gosh,
school,
Norman
and you go with
could tell
the
us all
chicken.
Yeah, it does. You know, the more we talk about it, the stupider it sounds, guys. Let's go back to us winning the College World Series.
It's a great accomplishment, you know. I mean, who knows that a school, you know, with all due respect, like Coastal Carolina, that doesn't recruit the best talent that, you know, nobody knows about outside of the Conti household, you know, and they all of a sudden, you know, they beat, is it Arizona, you know, or was it Arizona State? It was Arizona. I think it's great, you know, and baseball's not quite the same recruiting as football, of course, but you know, a school like that has never won. I think it's awesome. You know, I think it's a great story, and the connection to this show aside, I was all in for Coastal Carolina, you know, for that. So I
was
applaud.
surprised to see. It seemed like a lot of people were, just because I think they wanted to see
underdog, man.
new. Exactly.
Yeah, people love an underdog, especially in college sports. I mean, that's what you root for, because I think in some way it reminds us of what college sports used to be. Instead of what it's become with the financial behemoth and the ESPN ties and what have you.
Right.
You know, it used to be a college football team, baseball team, whatever. You didn't go across the country to play anybody. You played the other guys in your backyard.
That's right.
You know, you played.
People love the March Madness tournament. I mean, anybody in that tournament should go on the Cinderella run to win it.
Sure.
That's right.
And that's
one
why
of
it's
the
so
great things
popular.
about it. Yeah.
That's, you know, everybody likes it. You know, when the number 14 seed upsets, you know, Duke. You know, all of a sudden that team has won the hearts of the country. You know, that's and baseball, college baseball isn't at nearly as possible as college basketball or football, but it's getting better. You know, it is getting better. And this year, I think, you know, hopefully it'll give the sport a major boost.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's be honest.
That's why college football needs to learn a few things. We still need to expand that playoff tournament so you can actually let in teams that are smaller-ish.
Exactly.
Compared to these other big schools like Ohio State and Bama that can go on a run that should be in the tournament that don't get in there.
Right.
That's right.
Well, and I think the other thing with college football that's going to always make it trickier is the fact that you have so many different levels of play involved. You know, you have not just Division I and the mid-majors, but then you have, you know, Division I. What is it called now? 1A, or is it Division II? Where,
football?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1A and 1AA.
Right.
Or BCS and FCS.
Right. And then you have Division III, and then you have...
No, you have Division II, then Division III.
Sorry.
Right.
Yes. So, like, you just have so many different layers, and there's no way a school like a Coastal Carolina could ever, you know, even be thought about as a contender for any kind of championship.
Well, Sean,
Yeah,
is it
basically
Division II?
impossible.
Is it a Division II school in football?
Yes. We just moved from the Big South Conference to, oh, Jesus Christ, what was it? FBS, I guess it is?
1AA.
They're 1AA, Robbie?
Yeah, they were the same thing that ODU was when we were in the CAA.
I think they just changed, though.
Okay.
Well, you know, but here's the thing. While Sean is looking, I personally, I think they need to blow up college football and start over. You know, I think it's become, I don't know even what the word is. It's become just sort of an antithesis of what it originally started out to be and what's good. You know, it's all about money. You know, it's you know, if you're a small school, if you're not even a small school, if you're even
be a good word, Steve?
Maybe tainted. Yeah, maybe that's a good way to say it. I mean, forget the small schools. Even if you're a mid-major, like remember about 6 or 7 years ago, Utah was a really good team. They're undefeated.
Right.
You know, Boise State was good. You know, the entire time Kellen Moore was there.
Boise State was a great team for 4
but they never
years
got
running.
a shot.
Yeah.
They never got a shot. They never were going to get a shot ever.
Yep.
You know, and like Utah was undefeated that year. You know, Boise State went multiple seasons, you know, undefeated in the regular season. The idea that they don't even get a shot to be in the discussion to be the national champion just makes the whole thing phony to me. I mean, I've famously railed on the BCS for years and years, and you guys all know that. What's that, Robbie?
I said TCU's been good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, TCU, and they're finally in a big conference, but it took them years and years. So I think they need to blow the whole thing up, start over, get rid of the entire way they do things, you know, and just do it over again.
What is it? Is it money? Is that what it is?
It's all money.
Absolutely.
It's the bigger schools don't want to give the smaller schools a cut of the national stage money. Is that what it
The
is?
power conferences make a fortune on TV revenue, on bowl revenue, and on the I'll call it the championship series, for lack of a better term, because the BCS before it, you know, what they have now is just the same people basically,
Right.
doing it in a different way.
But they do 2 rounds. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing in the Alabamas and the Ohio States and the USCs and the other 4 or 5 top programs out there. They don't want to Texas, another
Right.
one. They've had a few down years, but they make a fortune.
Right.
So the Utahs and Boise States of the world don't have a shot, and that's what's great about basketball.
And the thing
Yeah.
to me that gets me annoyed is people keep saying, "Well, you can't do a playoff." But Robbie, how many teams make it into the playoffs at the FBS level? Is it 64?
No, it's 16. For the
Well-
FCS football, it's 16.
Oh, I thought it was more than that actually.
Well, and Division III has a tournament also, that's popular for the Keith McMillans of the world. I mean, they live for that, and it's a great thing. And you can't. I'm sorry, but you can't use. It makes me want to hurl myself out of a window when I hear people talk about the effect on academics. Well, they'd have to play football over finals weeks. Please spare me the righteous indignation. Okay.
Also, you can move around the season. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but also, I mean, come on.
Right.
You're talking about a handful of teams. They're all these big time teams don't focus on academics anyway.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
God, I hate to say it, but even the small schools don't really focus on academics for their football players. I think I told the story once on the on the show before, but I ended up in a math class in college full of nothing but football players, and it was taught by like a coach. Yeah.
Did you get an
Not,
A?
no, I did. Yeah. Not
Was it
exactly.
how hard was the class?
Let's just say attendance was optional, tests were optional, and learning was optional.
Nice.
I'll put it that way. But yeah, no, it's crazy. By the way, Coastal is in Division One NCAA, but we just moved. We left the FCS and the Big South Conference, and now we're in the Sun Belt Conference. So that's what
Oh,
changed.
you guys are
So,
in the
but-
Sun
but
Belt
is-
now.
Just
it's-
moved to the Sun Belt this year. Yeah.
But
So you're
division
okay.
is it the Division 1A or Division 1 AA?
Sun Belt would be a
Division 1A.
Yeah.
Division 1A.
Yeah,
Yep.
single A.
They would be on the same par as Robbie's
USA.
school now and my school. Like they're not in the elite conferences, but they're in those mid-sized
Moving on
conferences.
up.
Yeah.
Moving
Yeah.
on up. Yeah.
Yeah, 30 years
I mean,
in
but
Conference USA, mid-major just like Coastal.
Right, and Temple's in the AAC. So
I mean, I'm dead serious. So, I mean, let's get rid of the conferences, get rid of the bowl structure, get rid of everything, and design a new system with new people in charge. It's all about making money, huge money for the schools, and huge money for the athletic directors and the bowl chairman. I don't know if people understand what a complete con and scam on society that these bowl games are.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do, but not enough. It's not, and I don't think it's going to come from the corruption. I think in the end, you will only see change with more Baylor-like incidents, and that's the shame of it.
I think Baylor ought to get the death penalty from
Oh,
the
yeah.
NCAA. I said that before.
Sure.
I put that on Twitter on behalf of the Hog side, so I hope I didn't disagree with either Sean or Robbie on it. But and we got a barrage of responses. Oh, it would hurt the players. And well, you know what? If you're good enough to play at Baylor, you can transfer. NCAA let them transfer, skip the 1 year penalty, kill the program. Because that's a program that covered up
Sure.
a serial sexual assault by players on
I
students.
think until you start doing that with the Baylors and the Penn State type things,
Right.
it's never going to change.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a fair
mean,
point.
the Penn State. I mean, the idea that Penn State is still playing, and B, the students and the alum applauded the fact that they're playing. It really makes me sad more than anything else. I mean, the country's had a rough week this week, and very negative, and things like sports are supposed to be an escape, and then instead of an escape, we have schools that are doing what Penn State and Baylor did. It just makes it worse.
Well, it becomes a completely insulated little bubble. What do they call Penn State there? What is it? Happy Valley?
Happy Valley.
You
Yeah.
said Hippie
just
Valley
like-
back in
yeah.
the 60s,
People
Happy
there aren't
takes
going to
on
have.
Happy takes on a whole nother meaning.
but yeah.
Don't go. Yeah, I mean, it's just people there aren't like they're not going to have a great perception of stuff happening outside of that. It seems like a very.
I've been up there a
place.
few times
Well,
when I
not
went to
anymore.
college. They only
Yeah.
care about their football team.
Yeah, it's just
What's
weird.
that, Robbie? We're having to deal with Robbie on the beach, so he's having trouble. We're talking over him.
Did you see another stingray?
What's that?
Did you see another stingray or a dolphin?
Yeah, someone just turned on music.
Oh,
jamming to some Bob Marley now.
Oh, nice.
Beach party. All right. Well, I'd like to know, I mean, a final word about this college thing. I'd just like to know, like, how much money college basketball is pulling in, how much money college football is pulling in, and where the evidence is that this, like, that it costs college basketball money to have more schools involved. I'd like to see.
Well, think about this, Sean. College basketball has convinced major television networks to run their games on prime time for 3 weeks in a row. Okay? Including some on ABC, if I recall. It's not just ESPN.
Sure.
That's major ad revenue. It's prime time. It's when the country watches television. The NCAA tournament alone, I can't give you numbers. I've not looked it up. I would have been prepared if somebody had warned me that we were going to go down this road. But they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, overall.
Sure.
The money is absurd, and it rivals what the professional sports does, and it might even exceed it in some ways.
And college football can do that too by letting inviting more people to the table. You're gaining a lot more.
In the power conferences.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what the Power 5 conferences, Big 10, Pac-10, Big 12, ACC, SEC.
Right.
Those conferences and the people that run those conferences are making tons and tons and tons of money. The bowl games, the people who run does everybody know out there that if you're a bowl game chairman, you're making in some cases several $100,000 a year just to put on a bowl game in a 1 week.
It's considered a part-time gig for them too, for most of those people.
USA.
Yeah.
USA.
Players get a ton of free stuff too. They're part of the bowl game.
Yep.
Did you ever
Whatever
play
the
a bowl game,
company did
Robbie?
it. No, I didn't get a chance. I was in 1AA. We didn't play bowl games.
But you would? Did you?
I
You made the
played.
playoffs once, right, or twice?
We were in the playoffs, but there wasn't a bowl game.
Okay.
I think if you're like in the Rose Bowl, you get a swag bag that's along the lines of like the Oscars.
Swag.
Swag. I mean
I've
the
been
players.
told how,
Is that right?
We get like different bowl games, and depending on the company that sponsors it, you get all kinds of free stuff. They fill up bags full of all kinds of things. Players get all kinds of stuff in these bowl games. They love it.
Well, and your coach can't buy you a hot dog from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
But it's okay for the bowl game sponsors to give, in some cases, thousands of dollars in free stuff out.
Right.
Where's the equity in that?
Yeah.
Well, just sell it and then buy the hot dogs, Steve. Duh. Jesus, man.
I'm now in the water, by the way.
Nice. By the end of the show,
We're
Robbie
in the
will be
water.
under. Hey, do you have a waterproof phone? By the end of the show, I want you underwater.
I don't want to risk that. I'm just like standing in the shallows.
Okay.
Be careful, man. I saw on Shark Week that they're coming in closer to land. I don't want to be the first podcast with a live shark attack.
Well, yeah, and
Hey, we get some attention from that, though.
That's true,
movie.
actually. We'd go viral.
Yeah. But
Robbie, lose a leg.
Robbie, I like you. You're no Blake Lively.
What's that?
I like you, but you're no Blake Lively.
Oh no, of course not. But I think I can handle a shark better than her.
A reference to a bad shark movie with Blake Lively called The Shallows, I believe.
Yes. Out now.
God.
I might go see that since my wife's out of town.
I didn't know she was still appearing in movies. Jesus.
I've actually heard it's pretty good.
My stepson said it was the worst movie he's ever seen.
Guys,
Really?
Blake Lively movies? What's happening to the Hogsty? What is happening to us, guys?
Can we move on to
My fault.
football?
Yeah,
God.
it's the off season, and there's not much going on. But
All
yeah,
right,
let's get back. What's next on our itinerary?
We got a couple things. We got to talk some running backs. We've also got to talk about this list of top 100 players that
The NFL
that you
Network
found,
did.
which is
How
sort of
about
an
that?
aggregate of all the expert opinions. You want to do that?
All right.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll kind of take the lead since I'm the one who paid attention to it. The
Take us
NFL has, because they're as desperate for content as we are, apparently, on their network. They've been doing this thing for weeks now, every week releasing 10 players to get to a top 100 list, which they finally finished up this week. Now, this is voted on by the players themselves. It's not just the expert picking.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say. They say I don't know, do they send out a Scantron or something? I'm not really sure how they're doing it, but...
I've seen players say that they have never seen any ballots before.
Oh, really? That doesn't surprise me. Well, anyway, they probably don't go with a huge list of people to pick. But this year they also had a couple of their experts online making selections as well. So what I did was I really just pulled off the names of our, Redskins players who made the top 100 list, and I'll just go through that really quick here.
Yeah, who cracked the list at the highest position?
Okay, so let's go through the players list, supposedly. And we got 4 guys this year, which is pretty good.
Nice.
We have, of course, Sean's best friend forever, Josh Norman.
Oh,
Yeah.
guys, are we best friends now? We're
Yeah,
best
I think
friends.
you are. He came in at number 11, so that's
Oh,
pretty
he's
good.
Not good.
Yeah. I think he was
Josh.
the number 1 corner. I'd have to reorder the list to figure that out.
He was.
Yeah.
He was. I remember.
Yeah. Number
Coastal.
45, we had Trent Williams. Number 77,
Trent.
Jordan Reed. And number 85, Kirk Cousins. So, it's pretty good. I also looked into it. Kirk is rated as the 13th best quarterback on that list.
Wow.
So, we
What?
can kind of
Isn't that
discuss
about
that.
accurate, though?
Top 15.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, statistically, that's about where he is.
I mean, he is above guys like Andrew Luck and Derek Carr, and behind Alex Smith, Blake Bortles, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Andy Dalton, Drew Brees, Big
He was
Ben.
behind Blake Bortles.
Yeah, by a couple. Bortles was 56.
I think the players love Bortles, though.
They do. He's a big arm quarterback. Think
Yeah.
about it.
Guys, I don't know. I'm looking at this list of starting quarterbacks, and I don't know if I'm putting him in the top 13.
Where would you put him, Sean?
I wouldn't put him in the top half. I mean, I wouldn't put him
Well,
that far down. Don't get me wrong,
interestingly,
but I can
Sean,
easily pick out 13 names.
Most of the experts would agree with you, because only one expert had him on his top 100 list at all. I don't remember who. I just have it listed. That one guy had him ranked.
It was
91.
whoever, the last name was Taylor. I don't know who that is.
Oh, Ike
Alex.
Taylor.
Ike Taylor?
Yeah, former player.
I'd like to point out on your list that
Former
not
Steeler
one
who couldn't catch a football.
Yeah.
to save his life, and not one of these experts had Trent Williams in the top 100. I mean, people, let's be serious, for God's sakes. I mean, I think by anyone's evaluation, probably in the top 3 tackles in the NFL. You've got Joe Thomas, Tyrone Smith, Trent Williams. I'll leave it to Robbie to rank them. But the idea that a guy who's a 4-time Pro Bowler, All Pro, that is not even in the top 100 by any of them, I think it's just shameful. Really.
Shoot, Joe Thomas himself, the best tackle the past 10 years or so, even recognizes Trent at that
Right.
position right now.
Well, and what I'll put it as crazy is that who is it? Maurice Jones-Drew was one of the experts. He also had both tackles from Oakland listed on his top 100 list.
There's a shock. Maurice Jones-Drew from Cal.
Yeah.
Who is a California kid, went to school in Northern California, probably a Raiders
Played
fan.
for Oakland for a little bit too, didn't he?
I think he did for like 1 year after he got in trouble. Maybe I don't remember.
Well, and
Yeah.
Maurice has got Deshaun Jackson in the top 100.
Yeah, that's true. He did.
I think it depends on if you look at, is it talent or is it just production? I don't know what what each so-called expert's criterion is.
Well, and schmucks like us, we're gonna look at those highlight plays more likely and pick guys based off of that. So there's probably gonna be a lack of great offensive linemen in that list in general.
It's a great point. For people like us,
But
yeah.
I expect a little more from the former players, career
So subjective
experts.
to
Yeah,
judge offensive line.
sure. I mean, I get that personally, but still, that he didn't make one guy's list, and the players had him in the top 50. So what's that about?
Yeah, is there anybody else that didn't crack any list that we feel like really deserves to be on a list? I mean, that wasn't mentioned already.
From the Redskins?
Yeah, I mean, those were the obvious names with the addition of Deshaun
Jordan
Jackson.
Reed should have been higher.
That's
I
fair.
think.
Yeah, most guys had him in the 80s or 90s.
I don't know. I mean, he's had one good, one elite year.
Right.
I think we Redskin fans recognized his talent early on, and we saw flashes of what he was and what he could do. But to the disinterested third party, he didn't do much for the first couple of years because he was always hurt. And this past season was the first
we're
one.
talking about last season.
I know, but I'm just saying I think these experts did not give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right. And that's why I'm not shocked Deshaun Jackson wasn't on their players list because he was hurt half the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been on that list.
I mean, if he's healthy, you can still say he's one of the top 100. I don't doubt that for a minute.
I think what interested me the most of this list is that the huge discrepancy, just beyond the Trent Williams thing was just an abomination. But the other thing that stuck out in my head is that the players had Josh Norman ranked a lot higher than all these so-called experts did. The players had Josh Norman ranked as 11, and then the other experts had him ranked 39, 40, 49, and 31.
Yeah.
So what is the difference? What causes such a huge discrepancy there?
I mean, it's a good question.
The second you put on a Redskins uniform, dude.
It could be something like along those lines. Since we were a 9-7 team, we're not a 13-3 team. If you looked at who tended to get the most players in terms of team wide, it's mostly like all right. So the Seahawks. Carolina,
good, the Seahawks. We're so happy.
Yeah. Kansas City actually on the players list had 9 guys, but
wow, can we name them together with our powers combined, guys?
I don't think I could name 9 guys on Kansas City's entire roster.
I certainly couldn't. I know I couldn't.
Let me give it a crack. Let me get a crack at it.
Okay, all right.
All right. Alex Smith.
Yes.
Wow,
Justin
even
Houston.
that's kind of...
There you go.
Tamba Hali.
Yep.
Oh, that's an obvious one. Good call.
Yeah.
Eric Berry.
Yeah, he's on there.
John
Wouldn't have
Terry
guessed that.
Poe.
What was that one?
John Terry Poe.
I don't see Poe on there.
I don't even know him.
Johnson.
Johnson's on there.
What's his name? Ron Harper.
Nope.
No.
See, even Robbie, a football junkie.
Marcus Peters.
Yeah, he's in there.
But what about Jamal?
Yeah, Jamal Charles. Yeah. Who else?
Travis Kelsey.
Kelsey. Macklin is, and
I was going to say Macklin because I cheated and looked up, and I was like, oh, Macklin, obviously. And then
Jeremy Macklin. Yeah.
Well, why is Jeremy Macklin in there and
I don't know.
Sean Jackson isn't?
Macklin had a good year last year.
I know, but I guess I'm
He's
too
like the only
biased.
wide receiver to score touchdowns for the Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that their MO still that they throw it a lot until they get into the red zone?
Yeah, they only throw touchdowns to running backs and tight ends.
Right.
That's right, yeah. God, yeah, you'd hate to be a wide receiver on Kansas City, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. We did a
never
lot
been
better
a
at
wide
that Kansas
receiver
City guest game than I thought we would.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, we
Robbie
did
did it all.
a lot
Robbie
better. Yeah,
did.
Robbie did.
Robbie did it all.
Yeah. So I guess we're all in agreement, really, that those 5 guys that we mentioned are really the only ones you could put on a list like this right now.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
talked about this before.
Yeah.
Who are our elite players on the roster?
Yeah, and
So
I think we're right. At least now we have one on defense.
who's right behind that though? I'm gonna say, not far behind. I think you could make an argument for like a Breland, not terribly far behind. Kerrigan, not far behind. Good call.
Adam Junior Gillette has got to prove something first.
Yeah, he's got to be show he's healthy, but I think he was a top 100 type talent back before.
Yeah.
Baker played really well too.
Yeah,
Is that Robbie?
I said Chris Baker.
Baker.
Yeah.
Because the
Sure.
waves are getting in the way of your comments here in some spots.
Sure,
Drowned out by Mother
maybe
Nature.
in the future we'll be on that list. I think, but
Jury's out on
I would
him.
hope so.
yeah.
Well, I think there's a couple guys that are on the cusp there, but I think the 5 ones that were named are the obvious ones.
Honestly, I think the only ones that are the only guys that are really even on the cusp is Breland and Kerrigan.
Yeah, and Breland I think is even higher.
Garcon would be up too.
He's another cusp guy for sure.
To me, he's a player who has years where he should be on there, but more often than not, he's just he's a top tier red chip player.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not elite, but you win with guys like him on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on from top 100 players, then let's go to our next topic here. We wanted to let you guys know at home, in case you were wondering, that FedEx Field still sucks. Major Donkey Dick. Nothing really has moved on that point, but we wanted to bring it up again because we came across another article that I think was from last year, but it's still obviously
It's
is
still
accurate.
obvious that FedEx sucks.
Everybody hates FedEx, and let's keep our fingers crossed for
They
that new
did do
stadium.
better this year, though. They did do better, and we didn't hear as many complaints.
No,
about
and
the
there were
field
no
FedEx this year.
pictures surfaced of like exposed metal grating under the field. So that's
Well, I
why
think they resodded the field later in the year. Is how it got better.
Yeah, and because I saw that article and I didn't realize the date was wrong, I looked up our schedule this year. The schedule this year is actually pretty favorable for them doing repairs late in the season. We have 2 3-week stints towards the second half of the season where the team is either on a bye week or away. So, hopefully that continues, that they realize, oh, we have a 3-week chunk, let's regrow some grass.
I'm still in favor of the Redskins just transitioning to one of these artificial and turf blends.
I'm tempted
you
to
know,
be tuned at this point, but if they're going to stick with this classic, you got to know how to take care of it.
Yeah,
They're
agreed.
not going to change that till after they build their new stadium.
Yeah, I mean, it seems I can understand that too, because why would they drop a whole bunch of money on something that they're only going to be in a couple more years anyway?
because the NFL makes them.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
NFL
but they'll
puts
do the
force
bare minimum they have to.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
NFL.
but if there's more shots of Redskins playoff fields that is painted dirt,
Right.
at some point the NFL is going to step in. You know,
Well, but the thing is, we don't have the worst stadium, or field, sorry.
well, the worst on the list was Houston, and the reason for
Heinz
that
Field
is that
pretty rigged on too.
Yeah.
I mean the worst field on that list from October last year was Houston because that field gets people hurt.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just
there's
funny 'cause it's such a nice stadium.
yeah, but they I got the tour
Sure.
of that field. The grass is on massive trays, and so they can just haul the trays out, and so they can put in another floor for concerts and stuff.
Right.
But there's seams between the trays, and so we've had guys there that will happen to step right on a seam, and then they've
Twist an
sprained
ankle.
yeah.
Oof. That's no
Yeah.
good.
They're the
who
only
was it a
field
couple
that
years ago that like took a huge spill tripping over a sprinkler? Who was that? That was like 2 years ago or something.
I remember what you're talking about. I don't remember where that was even, though.
He
Was
got
it
like
Buff-
seriously injured.
No, it wasn't in Buffalo, because Buffalo's got like a 1970s AstroTurf.
Yeah, probably
By
not.
the way,
Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the Wild Wings commercial you're thinking of, Sean.
Did that happen in a commercial? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we know you're a Buffalo Wild. Didn't you make us wait one time because you're waiting on a pretzel and
Oh, probably.
Buffalo Wild Wings?
I wouldn't put it past me. That sounds like classic Sean Conti right there.
It's the hazards of doing a broadcast.
Well, I do think I actually kind of remember that commercial now. I do think I'm talking about a real life thing, but I do remember that commercial.
Oh my God! I was confused.
Well, yeah, I mean, anyways, you folks at home, we just wanted to let you know that. Hopefully something's moving there with the field quality. But we can move on there to our next actual topic. Now, I understand we've got some running backs to go over. And, Steve, I happened to catch your article. It was a very comprehensive article there on Matt Jones and his true production from last year. So I figured this would be a good time to talk about running backs on the old Redskins. So, Steve, can you take us through it?
Yeah. Well, let's start with Matt Jones,
Mr.
You know,
Mr.
Yeah.
Jones.
from Matt Jones, who's the subject of a mediocre '90s rock song.
Fitting.
But look, the point with Matt Jones, if you can kind of sum him up, is that he looks the part. He's got all the measurables. He's big. You know, he's tall. He's got a lot of bulk to him.
Got the
he
badass
has
dreads.
Yeah, he's got speed. You know, he has agility. He can cut really well. But the point in the article, and this really wasn't the point I was trying to make. It was just the way it turned out. He does not have the history of production to back up the way to back up the look.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. If you go all the way back to college, I think what stuck out in the most was that if you look at his collegiate collegiate production, collegiate numbers, it's really not. It wasn't that good. He averaged 4.9 yards per rush in college, which while that sounds great. Of course, the computer. I say didn't print it again. We went through this last week.
I think, Steve, it's time for you to get some more RAM on that computer.
What's RAM again?
RAM is the thing that makes it so your computer goes fast.
Okay,
that thing with horns that runs your computer.
He had a cool helmet back when it was blue and white. Now it's all blue and gold, and it's not as good looking.
He was ranked 131 in college in terms of yards per attempt.
Right.
4.9 yards per attempt in college is not. Is okay, but not that great. Ezekiel Elliott in 2014, 6.9 yards per carry.
Right.
Todd Gurley, 7.4 yards per carry. Melvin Gordon, 7.5. Those are
131.
He was ranked 131 in college in yards per attempt.
There's only 120 some odd schools in the entire
NC but
division.
The list had about 300. I think 305 names on it.
Right, but that means he wasn't even good enough to be the number one on the worst running team. Technically.
Yeah, Duke Johnson, who's in the NFL, 6.8 yards per carry.
Right.
And so then you transition over into, the NFL. 3.4 yards per carry last year. That was ranked 80th in the NFL. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I thought, is it really fair and a good representation of who he is to compare him to everybody? And so what I did is I limited the search criteria to running backs who are age 24 and under.
Right. His generational group.
Yeah. I did the age as opposed to years in the NFL, mainly just because of ease of search, but it kind of accomplished the same goal. Well, he was ranked 34th in that. Such luminaries as Carlos Hyde, Bishop Sankey, T.J. Yeldon, Lamar Miller, Tevin Coleman. These are guys that are all significantly better than Matt Jones of the under 24 group in yards per attempt. Now I'd like to ask Robbie, what difference did our spotty offensive line play have to do with Matt Jones's performance? Am I being unfair to this guy?
No, I don't think they, helped him out a lot, but I don't think he's the type of guy that can make something out of nothing either. I mean, he can fall forward and get like a yard or two, but he's not the kind of guy that's going to make a hole if there's not a hole there. You know what I mean? He's not like Alfred Morris, where at least when Alfred Morris was good for us, he would find these really small holes and make something happen. Mm-hmm. Matt's just not that kind of guy. He's a downhill runner that needs a hole. And he can do it. He can make a cutback lane if he has to, but he's not gonna, he's just gonna go forward and make something and just try to like really push the pile. But he won't, he won't make a hole if there isn't anything.
Right.
He's not that kind of back.
I'm concerned.
Wide open hole.
I'm concerned that this is a guy who Scott McLuhan has gotten hooked on because of what he sees. Because of the measurables and not necessarily the performance, Right. I mean, he was a good back at Florida. I'm not trying to, and I'm not, if Mrs. Jones is out there, I don't have anything against your son. I think, I'm glad we drafted him, but this is all from the perspective of whether or not Matt Jones can be a feature back.
Right. Can he be that number one guy?
Here's what I think about him. I think he's a piece to the puzzle. I don't really buy that they see a premier franchise running back, every down type of guy with him. I mean, because we've all seen the big playability he has. He can be a good weapon, but at least up to this point, he hasn't shown the consistency to be a feature back and then take all the carries. So the hope that I have is that he can just continue to be that piece to the puzzle, and they have the backup guys that can come in and make plays too. I mean, we're not a running team. We say that we are. We're not. We can pass a lot more than we run, and that's fine. Let's stop beating around the bush here and really identify what we are as a team, and that's what he adds to the team. Though he's a decent pass blocker. He can catch screens and take him to the house. He can run your outside sweeps and stuff, but I don't know. He's just not that feature back right now. I mean, maybe he can be that.
Yeah.
The screen thing that you brought up is the one thing I'll say that I think is his saving, not necessarily saving grace, but like it's the thing that might save him career wise. With Jay Gruden kind of having this West Coast foundation for the offense, even though I don't really consider what we do traditional West Coast, he does love to get his backs out there on a screenplay. And now some of that was luck on Jones's part. He had good blocking, but if he continues to put up a big screen reception every couple games, he'll still get out there and get touches because he has that weapon, or that ability at least.
Yeah, Matt Jones is like
Yeah.
Rex Grossman's dream.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he's some super receiving, running back either. Part of the
he's not,
stats
but-
that are in the article out there that I put out, he was 58th in the NFL in receptions by a running back. He had 19 receptions.
Right.
It's
the yardage that he put up with those 19 receptions that can pop
well-
your eyes a little bit.
Well, okay. Receiving yards by a running back, age limited to under 24, he's ranked 22nd in the NFL. And he's certainly he added immense value to the Redskins team because of that. But I don't think he's some sort of great receiving back.
Oh,
I
no,
don't.
I'm
It's
not
not
saying
like
he's Brian
Marshall
Westbrook
Falk
or
like
Marshall
Marshall Falk or something
No.
like that. Here's the thing, and does anybody out there really think that a guy who was ranked 131 in college football in his last year, who's ranked 80th in yards per attempt in the NFL in his first year, do we really think he's going to take a huge leap forward in the next
No.
couple years to become an elite talent?
No. But
That's the thing.
But here's my question for you guys then. He's a third round pick. He was like the 100th pick or whatever of the draft.
Right.
Has he played below that? Or has he played
No.
to his third round billing?
I'd say he played up to that. Yeah.
I would
I
say
would
you
too.
need to give it another year or two to really decide.
Yeah.
Like with any draft pick, you got to give him the 3-year rule.
Absolutely.
But I'm not disappointed in what he put up because, a running back's job is to put up yardage, and in the end, he did put up some kind of yardage. It's not like he just sat on the bench all year.
Right.
Yeah, he played. There are many players that played better.
He had like
the one,
800 yards or something, right?
well, that was your total. No, he didn't have. If you want,
That's
me give you
passing
yardage.
and receiving. It's around
Yeah.
800.
Combined, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 6 touchdowns.
Well, here's a question for you. Steve. How
Yeah.
many carries did he have in college? Like rushing carries.
rushing
College,
carries.
totally.
You know what? I'm not sure I have it.
Ooh, put him on the spot. Oh, Steve, you're supposed to do your
I didn't
homework.
do carries. I didn't do carries.
I do know he was.
You're fired.
He was a
No,
running
actually,
back
you know
by
what I
committee
have?
guy
Hold on.
in college. I know that.
Hold on, I have it. Let's see. Matt Jones.
My point with that is I don't think he had a lot of carries. I think he got a lighter tread on his tires compared to these other guys like Tevin Coleman, Melvin Gordon, and Duke Johnson. These other premier backs coming out of college got a lot of carries. I'm pretty sure he hadn't had nearly as many carries as those guys. So I think that's another thing that kind of caught McLuhan's eye is that he's a big, huge back with some speed on him that doesn't have a lot of tread on the tire, which is good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you here in just a second what the answer is. Yeah, and I think it is a good point. And part of the knocks on Derrick Henry out of Alabama was that he already had a ton of carries. And Jones had 297 total rushing attempts in college from 2012 to 2014. In his last year at Florida, he had 166 attempts, which is a little bit more. He had 144 attempts, with the Redskins last year. So, he's not been
Another committee situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not. Robbie's right about that, and it is a valid point.
Sure.
Well, here's what really stuck out for me when I was doing these stats. Can anybody out there name the NFL's leader in rushing yards per attempt?
Per attempt.
Is there any minimum number of yards you're talking about? 'Cause
Good question.
there's always like some weird thing when you look at pure stats where some wide receiver had like one end around for 80
Yeah,
yards.
I'm not talking about those guys. Of
Okay.
running backs that are eligible.
Uh,
And Sean read the article, so Sean should know this.
I think I do, but I don't want to say it because if I'm wrong, I sound really
I know
retarded.
for us
Could be
that
busted.
it's Thompson, right?
That's the
for
one
the
that I was
for the
gonna say.
NFL, it's Thompson.
Oh,
For the
it was
entire NFL, okay, but that's
Oh,
like
you're
5
talking about
carries.
on our team. I thought you were talking about
No,
the NFL.
no, I'm talking about the NFL.
The answer is true for both our team and the NFL.
Chris Thompson led the NFL in rushing yards per attempt.
Right.
Damn.
But
Wow.
6.2 yards per attempt, and of course it must be said,
That he
that
had
he didn't
like
have
10 carries.
no,
He
more
didn't-
than that. I think 2 a game is his average. So
Okay, so
30
like 20
something. Yeah.
Okay, he had like 30 carries.
Well, I mean, he had
Talk about
35
him a
rushing
little bit
attempts
then.
last year. He had 35
35.
rushing attempts.
Okay.
But Chris Thompson, he's not that big, not that heavy.
Right.
He does have some speed to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not built like a guy who can be a feature back.
No, he's a bug.
He's a classic third down back. Where he really blew up last year for us is receiving. He had 48 targets, 35 receptions last year.
We all knew Jay Gruden liked doing that, so.
Yeah, I think I'd like to get Robbie's opinion on Thompson because to me, what he's turned into is the classic, stereotypical third down back, a guy who can come in on third down. He's not a terrible blocker considering his size. He can go out there and run screen passes, and he can occasionally, bust a good one on a third down. So what do you think about Thompson, Robbie?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think his pass blocking is what really solidified him as a third down back. I mean, we all know he can catch and run and he uses speed to make plays, but his ability to block has really kind of come out of nowhere. Especially this past season that went down, he was really good at it. And Mark Bullock pointed it out a couple times. He's really kind of matured and really, what's the term I'm looking for? Kind of just gritted down and kind of manned up to take on this, pass blocking role that he has to be able to do to be a third down back. And he's become a pretty solid contributor for us, whether he's touching the ball or not.
Yeah. Other guys on the roster, the next guy up sort of is Keith Marshall, who was our 7th round draft pick out of Georgia. People need to understand about Marshall is that he was a highly recruited running back out of college or coming to college. His career, we talked about this a little bit in our draft episode, but his college career was ruined by injury.
Yeah.
He came in and as a freshman at Georgia, he averaged 6.5 yards per carry, which is, significantly more than Jones, 759 yards. And then he tore his ACL and it messed up the rest of his career.
He was ahead of Todd Gurley too.
Yeah, this guy is 5'11", 212 pounds, running on a 4.340. That is unbelievable. There's been some rumors that he's not quite as fast, as he was pre-injury.
I feel like I haven't heard a peep about him.
Well, he hasn't been healthy enough to practice full yet, has he?
No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's a guy who has a tremendously high ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
The potential's there. It's just a matter of whether
We don't know where his floor is.
Yeah,
He'll be a camp favorite because everybody's infatuated with his speed and size, with good reason too. But we have to kind of temper that because he is only a 7th round draft pick, and by the looks of it, he does seem to be injury prone.
Right. I mean, I remember when we drafted him, fans were saying he might be our steal of the draft if he can get healthy.
Well, he has the collegiate production
Pick,
to.
though.
He's got the collegiate background to be that steal.
He was a 5-star recruit. I mean, that's a big deal.
Well, he had the production. Yeah. He averaged 5.5 yards a carry in the SEC.
Yeah.
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 Let's real quick run through the other names. We've got Mac Brown on the roster still, who was with us last year on the practice squad.
Mac the Knife.
He spent a cup of coffee with Houston. He's back with us. Rob Kelly is a guy we signed out of Tulane. He's with us. He's like a 5'11", 6 foot, 220-pound type guy. Robbie's favorite, Joe Carriage. Mm-hmm. So, Robbie, tell us what you like. I know you like Joe Carriage. He was the fullback. What do you like about him?
I mean, I've said this before. He's just a mean son of a bitch. He's that guy who, he's not afraid to hit anybody. He'll go up and take on any guy that's a blocker, and he 9 times out of 10 will punish him and play blend with him over top of him and the other guy on the ground. He's just that Scott McCloughan football player that does all the dirty work and does what you want him, anything you ask him to do. You got to love it. He doesn't look that big though. He actually looks like a running back. You look at pictures of him at the OTAs and stuff. He looks like he can move a little bit. I don't know.
He's listed at 6 foot, about 250. The 40 times they have out there for him are about 4'9" or so. So he does not have the speed. Yeah.
But you do. I mean, if he makes the roster, it's not like he's going to be out there for much more than the goal line with how Gruden likes to run things.
Well, and for a few plays a game at fullback, possibly,
Well, but that's what I meant. Like, he'll be a fullback in those goal line situations.
And then the last guy on the roster, Kelsey Young, Kelsey Young was at Stanford, transferred to Boise State. And just for the kiddos out there, if you're about to, just a note, if you're about to graduate from Stanford, don't transfer to Boise State, okay? Keep your degree from Stanford. I'm just saying. But this is a guy, 5'10", 198 pounds. Again, another guy who was productive in college. Mm-hmm. So he's got potential. From a salary cap perspective, real quick, it is amazing how little we spent on running backs.
Mm-hmm. Is it amazing? Think about the names you just went through.
Well, you're right. You're right.
He's spending big money on anybody.
We are spending a total of 1% of the salary cap is spent on our running backs. Okay. All of them are on min contracts. Jones and Thompson are the only ones that have even anything above the min. So we are able to spend big money on guys like Josh Norman and Deshaun Jackson because we have spent the price, the equivalent of a cheeseburger at McDonald's on our running backs this year.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. I think it's by design.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, going through the list of running backs, it's like a veritable who's who of who's that. But I would just
that's a good line, Sean.
That might be our new title.
We have to work that in. I don't know. It feels to me like nobody was out there that really piqued these guys' interest enough to go chasing after big free agent running backs. So Matt Jones is not the premier guy, the 3-down back guy, the guy who's going to get it done. But he's not really supposed to be. And I think we've got a couple.
I don't know,
guys
Sean.
here.
That's the thing is I'm thinking that Scott McGlynn may think he is that guy.
Well, I think
Scott
not bring
confidence
down to reality this year.
I think he's giving Matt Jones a year to finish. Yeah.
Right,
yeah, I mean,
Robbie, we cut you off again.
I said the coaching staff loves him too.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to get his shot as the number one guy again this year, but I don't think I don't necessarily think there's as much confusion on the part of the Redskins administration that maybe this is our number one guy. I feel like, and this is me just trying to get in Scott's head, I feel like Scott knows number one guy's not on the team yet, and you're just going to get it done with committee. We've got a lot of options at running back this year to work through in camp. He's just going to see who steps up for this year, and then next year I imagine we'll see some roster changes. But I don't know. I'm not disappointed in Matt Jones' production because I was never really thought it was supposed to be much better, frankly.
Well, the last thing about Jones, he does actually have a fumbling problem. He had 5 fumbles last year. Adrian Peterson led the NFL with 7. Peterson had he had over 300 carries. I didn't do percentage, of fumbles because when you're talking about 3%, I
thought you did. It was like 3%.
Well, I did a couple notes, but I didn't do a chart of fumble percentage because you're talking about like 2.8% versus 2.4, and it loses its kind of value there. So but when your competition is Mac Brown and Rob Kelly and Kelsey Young, maybe Matt Jones should be the number one running back.
Well, I mean, I think what fans really should be hoping for. I look at it. You got to pray that 7th round rookie of ours is a diamond in the rough, because otherwise, we're just gonna have to suffer through another year of. Hey, another 3-yard run. Yay, another 3-yard run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that if we want to move on from that, we've got a nice little topic-appropriate user poll, listener poll. Is that right, Steve?
Yeah, we did a poll. This one might have been a little bit too football-y for the average person, but I was curious about what the fans thought about Matt Jones. So the question was, Matt Jones averaged 3.4 yards per carry last season. What do you think he will average this season? And the categories were 3.4 yards per carry or less, between 3.9 between 3.5 and 3.9 yards per carry, between 4.0 and 4.3 yards per carry, which would be kind of good, but Not great. That's a competent level. Above 4.4 yards per carry, which would be considered a good running back. So, what do you guys think?
Whew.
Let's go with Sean first.
All right. Give me one more time. What was the second option?
It was 3.4 and less, between 3.5 and 3.9, 4.0 and 4.3, and then above 4.4 yards per carry.
Okay. Not to be a downer, I think he's going to improve, but just a smidge. So I'm going to go 3.5 to 3.9, I believe was the range you gave. I think it will be better, but I just don't think it'll be much better. I don't know. There wasn't that many changes. I feel like I haven't seen that many changes to justify much more than that. So that's what I'm sticking with.
Let's save the Robbie's expertise for last. So, Alex, what do you think?
I'm with Sean on this. I think he gets a little bit better. I think if the line stays healthy, that'll help him a little bit because I do think losing our center and left guard hurt him. But
good point.
I don't think those two spots alone will push him to a 4.5 or anything.
Yeah, Robbie.
Yeah, I think. I voted, and I said in that 4.0 to 4.3 range, but I think I kind of changed my mind. I think he will be in that same spot Sean said, the 3.5 to 3.9.
Look at me now, Mom. I'm smart.
Yeah.
Well, Robbie, it's interesting you said that because the poll results actually had a tie.
Whoa, first time ever.
Yeah, a tie.
There are no ties in football.
Well, but if we reverse Robbie's one vote, that may push us over to a not tie.
Nice.
The final official poll results are 43% between 3.5 and 3.9 yards per carry, and 43% between 4.0 and 4.3 yards per carry.
Wow.
The optimistic 8% of you out there think he's going to average 4.4 yards per carry or more. Again, I admire
Jay Gruden voting on our polls.
Yeah.
I admire your optimism, but I don't share your optimism. And a mere 6% think he's going to get worse. In 4 yards per carry less. Personally, I'm with Sean and Alex and Robbie. I'm in the 3.5 to 3.9 yards per carry range.
I think we all agree he probably can get a little better, just not much.
Yes. Yeah. And by the way, incidentally, sort of the classic line here is, it doesn't take much to average 1,000 yards you're rushing a season.
Mm-hmm.
You ought at least, it only takes 62.5 yards per game. But I'd just like to point out, in conjunction with the stats I did, there were only 7 running backs in the NFL that ran over 1,000 yards last year. So despite the fact that it sounds easy, it actually isn't, people.
Right.
I'm amazed how much people don't realize that there's only ever like 5 to 7 running backs that ever break the 1,000-yard mark every year. Most teams go by committee. It's just the way of life.
Well, it takes consistency, to do that. Lou Venturi, who's a friend of the show, a long-time listener who's commented on these things before.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, Lou. Lou says Jones has to improve from rookie year, more cohesion on and with the O-line, plus getting used to the speed of the game in year 2. So he's saying that, I think like us, he's going to improve a little bit, but not much. So I think that was the prevailing sense of the comments.
Lou.
So that's the poll.
You're the man, Lou. Yeah. Shit. Look, we should have a segment called Lou's Corner. Well, that was a pretty awesome poll, Steve. Good work on that as usual, and thank you all at home for participating if you did. We got a couple more things to talk about, guys. Should we do it? Should we save it for next week? I mean, we've got to talk about...
one little tiny correction real fast.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I just like one little explanatory note. On the Andrew Luck contract, the guaranteed money, $47 million, is guaranteed. The reason why I threw out $87 million without last week was that $87 million becomes guaranteed later in the contract. The $47 million is the amount guaranteed at signing, which is sort of the standard measure that everybody looks at. Right. But what happens with Luck's contract is every year some more becomes guaranteed and it gets up to 87. So that was why I was a little bit vague. I didn't mean to be vague. I didn't explain it very well. So that's the clarification on the Luck contract.
Since you brought up Luck's contract, Kirk's contract, either he's on the 1-year deal or we work out something long-term this week. I think it's the 15th. That's the deadline.
Yeah.
Do we want to just go around the table and say what we think is going to happen?
Sure.
Okay. Robbie?
I think a deal will get done. I'm going to say like 5 years, and I'm not going to put a price range on it. I have no idea.
Oh, you've got to put a price range on it, Robbie.
All right, it'll probably
Under or over
I
100?
think you'll probably get close to 100.
Jesus Christ.
5 year, 100 million. Some.
Okay.
Insanity. Fucking
Uh,
insanity.
Let's save Steve last because this is where Steve is actually the strongest. So,
There's
All
very
right,
few things which I am the strongest, but
well,
that
contracts. I think we all agree you're the strongest.
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to say a deal does not get done, even though I think they're going to do everything they can to make that happen. I'm going to say a deal doesn't get done because I think Scott's going to stay smart, stick to his guns, and not going to want to throw away a huge amount of cash. God, I hope that's true. Hearing it come out of my mouth, Jesus, I hope that's what happens. I think that there will be too deep of a divide between Kirk's camp and what Scott's willing to give him. So I'm going to say a deal doesn't get done. But there's like maybe a 25% chance that it does, and if it does, I'm going to say the $50 to $60 million range.
Okay.
Okay.
I initially was in the it'll get done at 11 p.m. on the 14th kind of camp. I don't know what time on July 15th is the deadline. It's probably some weird like 3 o'clock deadline time.
It's probably 4 o'clock New York time,
Or
if I
4
had to
o'clock.
guess.
Okay, 4 o'clock New York time.
I don't know that for a fact, but that's usually what the deadlines in the NFL are.
Okay. I just can't remember what the... But, an hour before that, if it does get done at all, that's when we'll hear. But I'm now thinking it doesn't happen. I think he plays on the tender.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I do not think a deal gets done. I don't think it's in either party's best interest to get a deal done right now. The Redskins have no need to lock him up to a long-term contract right now, necessarily. They can franchise him again next year if they really had to, and the tag would go up, a few million a year, per year, but they could lock him up next year. From Kirk's perspective, he's already making $20 million this year. He's getting the generational money right now.
And I think he realizes that. That's the difference.
Yeah, he might.
That's a good
He's
point.
got an aggressive agent. His agent, from what I've seen, really wants the Redskins to lock themselves in contractually with Kirk, and what that means is he's talking about a contract that the Redskins will not be able to get out of for several years. I've been preaching it every week. That is not going to happen. Scott McGowan is not going to do that.
That's not that dumb.
No, and I think more than the divide in the money, that's the thing. I don't think the Redskins are going to allow themselves to be locked in for 3 or 4 years on this quarterback, and nor should they, because Kirk's kind of growing on all of us on the show a little bit, but he is not proven.
Oh no!
You
But
know,
if he's good this year, I think we would all happily say 3 or 4 years. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, no, I would not say that, because only we're talking like Joe Flacco, Drew Brees, Tony Romo. Are the the quarterbacks that are like locked in for more than 2 years. There's not going to. The deal is not. Not going to be, in my opinion, a deal in which the Redskins cannot get out of it. After
Favorably.
after the third year. So, if a deal does get done, I haven't run the numbers. I'm in the process of updating my math, so I'm not going to do a prediction. But I think it's going to come in less than luck. From an overall numbers and from a guarantee standpoint.
It would be such a mistake to this team to pay him Andrew Luck money. I just feel like that would be a big
I think it's a mistake to pay Andrew Luck money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You just neutered your team where you really needed help around him, and you just threw it all at Andrew.
Andrew Luck's contract in year 4 has got a $28 million cap hit, so you better hope that guy is a superstar.
I mean, he's great.
You better hope he stops throwing an interception at game average or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's exactly
and
right.
his completion percentage needs to go up.
Yeah,
I agree
statistically,
that
he's not been a superstar. The team has done well with him. This is the difference between and I know I kind of do the stats around here, but you got to look at
Curtis Painter.
You got to do stats, and you got to look at how the guy performs and how the team plays.
Right.
Statistically, hasn't been a superstar. Robert Griffin had better stats than him in his first year, and since then, Luck has kind of gone down. But the team has been a good team. What's that?
The Waves got sacked a lot too.
Yeah, he gets sacked.
A lot.
But the team has been in the AFC Championship game. You know, they went from horrible with Curtis Painter.
They didn't win a single game in 2011, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, they did. They did win a
one
couple games. Yeah.
Remember, they tanked on purpose.
Yeah, suck for luck. Who could forget that?
Yeah. So I think Andrew Luck is a guy who's led the team to greater than what his statistics would indicate.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so
Fair.
there you go.
But Kirk Cousins, not one of those guys.
Not yet.
No, you build a team around a guy like Cousins to make you great.
Yeah, well, let's hope. This is going to be an interesting year, guys. I can feel interesting things happening this year.
I agree.
And we'll have more we're going to have a lot more on Kirk Cousins on the next show because we're going to do the position group breakdown on quarterbacks. We save that for the grand finale.
Yeah.
And we'll also know by the time we record the next episode, we'll know whether or not he has a long-term contract or we're playing under the tag.
I mean, it'll be great for us topic-wise if he does have a long-term contract.
Yeah,
it's certainly show fodder, that's for sure.
Yeah. If none of us have to even talk, Steve will just rant for a good hour about the numbers.
No, I can do that.
All right.
Well, yeah, that's our show for today, folks. Anything new happening in your guys' lives you want to call out here at the end of the show? I mean, anything new happen?
Not really.
You guys are boring as fuck.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say that was a really, Sean was expecting somebody to go, yeah, we're going to Paris.
I mean, I shaved my beard for the first time since I was 17.
You look very dashing, man.
Yeah, I got a double chin apparently.
No,
I've never in my life had a beard.
Well, yeah, but you didn't grow up with hippies.
No, and I've been in the military since I was 17.
Right.
So
yeah, you can't have beards in the military.
Well, you can have like a mustache, but
it depends on the service. Yeah, how big.
Yeah,
I've
they
never
actually
done
measure it or something.
They're at the stat. Yeah, they do measure it. That's true. There's the regulations do specify.
Right, it can't be past your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
God, killjoys.
So the answer to that is no, not much. Robbie is the one that's having fun. He's standing in the water at Nag's Head now.
The rest of us just shave, and that's it.
And I can't wait to put my whole head underwater. It's hot right now.
Do it.
Why don't you do it right now while you're on the show, and let's hear what that sounds like. Go ahead, Robbie, do it.
I don't want to get my phone wet.
All right,
but
hang up, throw your phone at the beach, and then just jump in the water.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Robbie.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
Robbie died.
I'm back.
All right, he's back.
No live drowning on this
good.
episode.
All right.
That's all good.
There you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we'll let Robbie get back to his swimming. We'll let you get back to your life on this beautiful Saturday. Just a little homework for this next week. I'm recently out of a long-term relationship, so if you have someone that I can date, please send it to Sean's new girlfriend at thehogsty.com. I'll review all submissions by next week, and we really appreciate it.
And
Photos only. You must send photos.
Yes.
No photos. Steve just got us 100 dick pics by saying that.
Yeah, you're so right. So right. Please don't troll me, guys.
Anything. No, Sean is the one that's begging for a date. So
We're calling the website hogsmeat.com.
So if we get a bunch of pictures, you need to sort through them all, Sean. I'm not doing it.
God, I'll take one for the team, but please, I'm emotionally fragile, so no dick pics. Serious suggestions only. And we'll leave you with that. So we'll see you next week, and thanks for being with us as usual. It's been the Hogsty. Take care.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.
See you, Robbie.